The left is absolutely melting down right now. Every case, every scam, everything that they had just barely held together with lazy propaganda and Trump deranged lunacy, essentially, it's all predictably falling apart. And as they watch Stormy Daniels basically single-handedly destroy the Stormy Daniels hush money misdemeanor case, they don't know what to do.
The cross-exam, boy, her responses were disastrous. I mean, do you hate Donald Trump? Yes, of course she does. That's a big deal. When the witness hates the person whose liberty is at stake, that's a big damn deal. And she's putting out tweets, fantasizing about him being in jail. That really undermines the credibility. The fact that she owes him $500,000, she, by order of a court, owes Donald Trump $500,000 and said, I will never pay him. I will defy a court order. The defense is going to say she's willing to defy a court order. Why? She's not willing to respect an order of a judge. Why is she going to respect this oath she took? So I thought it went quite poorly on cross-exam. At the end of direct, I thought, okay, they got what they needed, but I think the cross is making real inroads.
It all makes her the world's perfect leftist, really. I mean, she's wonderfully Trump deranged, but she's a really, really bad witness. And I probably shouldn't lead with Honig because he is the only guy on CNN that still has his own credibility, his own ability to think, right? But as you can see, I mean, they're all having a hard time.
The material that came in was not relevant to this criminal case at all. And I think it shows that she was trying to get Trump. I actually thought there was a motive there. She said she hates him. She said she'd like to see him in prison. I think she was purposely throwing out this stuff to make sure the jurors were prejudiced, particularly the women jurors, but probably half of the men too, were really put off.
And that's the important thing right there. Relevance, man, relevance. We've had days and days and days of this testimony, and almost nothing has been relevant, if anything, right? The only thing that Stormy disclosed, they're either prejudicial against the defendant, against Donald Trump, or they directly expose her own credibility and her own motives. I mean, the woman is clearly Trump deranged. And really, I mean, when you think about it, you see why. I mean, she has been treated as a hero by the left for 8 years, man, or more. I mean, she hangs out with celebrities. She goes on Anderson Cooper. I mean, the lady is a leftist hero, right? She's paid for the stories. She had a documentary made about her, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hating Donald Trump has become her brand. And now on her biggest stage, she's got to lean into that.
The thing that's, I think my one quarrel with that is that I think she may have done damage to the prosecution's case by virtue of the fact that she just couldn't stop saying stuff, and so that's going to backfire on them. I think we know now from some reporting from our colleagues that the cross-examination is going to go longer because they know they now have room to go after her for some of the suggestions she made.
The defense does.
The defense, right? That the encounter was not consensual, which of course is not something that has been really, her position until more recently. So I think that's where it poses a problem.
Sure. I will not back down from this point at all, even in the face of my friend Evan Press, only because at the center of the case is the allegation of a sexual encounter. Right. Prosecutors have to establish a sexual encounter or else the case goes away. All of the other stuff is critically important, and I think it makes it harder to believe her. But if the prosecutors didn't call her as a witness, it's over. Literally, you could file a motion to, the defense could file a motion to throw the case out at that point. So that's all.
I mean, that all makes her a pretty great brainwashed liberal, but it makes her a very, very bad witness. I mean, she just cannot stop lying. She cannot stop saying ridiculous things. And now, I mean, as I record this, it's more of the same. I mean, the defense, they're going to drag her testimony out as long as she'll let them. As long as she's willing to look vengeful and Trump deranged and like a total crazy person, they'll keep asking questions. I mean, the prosecution, they have to be absolutely losing their mind that they even had to call her. If they had any choice, I don't think they would have called her. They didn't call her to testify with the grand jury, but they have to call her here. They had no choice. But these are the kinds of people that you need to rely on when you're manipulating 20-year-old accusations and 8-year-old so-called crimes, misdemeanor crimes.
The silk pajamas, the kind of lotion he was wearing. I can't imagine how the
Court of Appeals in New York that reversed the Harvey Weinstein conviction, which was a harder case to reverse, wouldn't reverse this conviction if it got up there. I would certainly recommend to the prosecutors in this case that they study the Weinstein case very carefully, because it gives a roadmap to what you can't do. And this prosecutor is just following the roadmap of what you can't do.
Dershowitz, as usual, obviously right. I mean, these prosecutors know. They know that what they're doing is absolutely wrong. They know that regardless of what happens with the jury, this case will not survive. You know, that's what really makes me believe that they're not trying a case. These people are not trying a case. They are running a campaign. They want as much salaciousness, as much nastiness to come out of the courtroom as they possibly can get. And they want to drag it on for as long as they possibly can, right? That's all they want. You know, a conviction would just be icing on the cake. And now that this trial, whatever you want to call it, looks like it's the only show in town, you know, now the pressure is really on for these people to make it count, because the Florida case, that's falling apart before their eyes. And the media, they don't really even know how to spin it for their poor victims. They haven't told them about the FBI manipulating and staging evidence. They haven't told them about Jack Smith making false filings. They haven't told them about any of the pretrial issues, but they sure as hell talk about Trump-appointed judge.
Yesterday was no surprise. I can't underscore how little of surprise it was. It was more surprising that Stormy Daniels got on the stand and said that she had sex with Donald Trump than it was that Aileen Cannon postponed her trial date. She has a number of motions that have even yet to be scheduled that are required under the Classified Information Procedures Act. She has a number of pending motions that have been fully briefed for months now, on which she has made no decision. I wouldn't venture a guess at when this case would be ready for trial, and I believe that's by design.